Welcome to Volstars, a GammaStrike production.
Welcome to Volstars, where we talk everything markets and those who make them. Today's episode is brought to you by Imodium. Whether your diarrhea comes from tainted lettuce from Mexico or the first taco a high schooler assembled after his last bathroom break, don't be caught with your pants down. Don't let a moment of culinary pleasure end in an errand to Target to buy new bed sheets. When you can't measure it in meters because it's coming out in liters, diarrhea. The explosions are arrested while the lettuce is retested. Imodium. Also brought to you by Target, proud supplier of Imodium and bed sheets. And finally by GammaStrike.com, providing actual real-time data for every type of trader. You've tried the rest, now try the best. GammaStrike.com. I'm Jay Fresh, and I'm joined by our co-host, Gherkin and Dork. Let's get into the market overview.
That was an amazing intro, Jay Fresh. But I want to follow up with one more product. And that's the, I know we had a 30-minute pre-stream conversation where I could have brought this up, but have you guys ever had Biscoff cream-filled cookies?
No, but it sounds delightful. I do like amazing. Biscoff cookies.
Ooh. I do too, but imagine them being less dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like dangerous. The cream?
It's like a Biscoff Oreo. Look at that thing.
Oh,
it's just
like
it's vanilla.
Okay.
It should be marshmallow. That'd be better.
I was thinking like the filling in a Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie.
What is the flavor of marshmallow? Isn't it just corn syrup?
It's just sugar, yeah.
Yeah. Sugar with a little bit of vanilla, I guess.
And
some gelatin. There is like an actual plant that they make mallow from.
I can't confirm. I don't know enough about mallow to confirm or deny that. All I know is that Mallow was a character in the Super Nintendo Mario RPG. And he was very cloud-like and puffy.
That was a good deep cut there. I liked it.
Yeah. For our one listener, I know he's really likes Options and Super Mario RPG.
I think we're going to find out this week. He was just here for Dork.
Yep. Yeah, we will.
And Dork will not be with us today. He's busy being domestic.
No, isn't he out being river scum?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
he's like the river rave.
I forgot about that.
Some sort of weird.
He's partying in a river. Silospora wasn't enough for him. He wanted Giardia as well.
Yeah,
really trying to pre-wedding cleanse.
I hope they're at a part of the river that has good flow and not a lot of stagnant water, because it just seems unpalatable to me.
Remember when Nuke went in a river? And him and his girlfriend got Giardia? Or his girlfriend got Giardia? Or was like about to die, or cholera, or whatever you get from rivers?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Pretty much every time I go into a lake, I get an ear infection.
I think you're more of a sensitive type, though. I would expect that.
I am, yeah. If for people that can't see me, I am fair-skinned, redheaded, left-handed. I'm just all sorts of. I'm just like my jeans are barely hanging on to the edge of the gene pool. Yeah. All right. So let's get into market stuff.
I'm trying to find the thing.
The thing? Yep. Yeah. There's a link. Yeah.
By the way, you gotta stop rocking there, Jay Fresh. You're cutting in and out with the mic.
Ooh,
wow. Ron giving directions live. How about we just leave, Ron, and you can do this whole episode by yourself?
Ron, I really like you a lot more when you're silent. I'm just kidding. You just
prefer Ron's communication via chat?
Yeah. You're a good typist.
I just think, yeah. I mean, when I'm actually just in the background and it's, I'm waving my arms and hands around and giving you guys the finger. That's always kind of fun.
He does give us the finger a lot. Yeah. He does give us the finger a lot. Okay, so first topic, the resilient consumer disconnect versus retail earnings. Are we seeing a bifurcation where high-end holds retail up, but mass market consumer staples begin to crater? So this is like the K-shaped economy that everybody likes to talk about. Are we still seeing the effects of a K-shaped economy? Is the K-shaped economy real, and is it getting worse?
No, I think it's not, obviously. It never has been. We should have just kept making things all along. But no, I feel like both ends are just falling off. Where we're seeing the consumer with, you know, the regular consumer with less optimism, and the high end consumer just not feeling like they need to spend more money on anything until they can get their money out of private equity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Private equity is in a bind.
It's
right?
okay though, because Cox Capital Group came out this week and offered them 75 cents, 70 to 85 cents on the dollar to bail them out of their BDCs.
Healthy.
Let me tell you, you don't want to be the first person to that table.
Did they all mark their prices down to that offer, or are they still
No. They're just trying to get them out of their holdings. So they're offering to buy
I'm just
them
saying,
out.
but did those private equity people who have those holdings, did they then re-rate their holdings based on that real offer?
No, because it's just relative to NAV. Currently, most non-traded BDCs are trading at around 75 cents to the dollar against their NAV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I don't know. I'd probably take the bailout now.
Yeah, 85.
If I were them.
Yeah. If it's
85
trading
cents.
75.
Well, that was only for, I think, Ares Capital Group. HPC was it, and Apollo got significantly less.
Well, it's probably directly inversely correlated to what percent of their assets is tied up in AI data centers that aren't going to get finished.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to imagine, I know I've been saying this over and over again for a few weeks now, but I have to imagine with the price of oil being what it is, that all the money they raised to build these data centers is no longer enough. So now they're all just like, do we build 80% of a data center and get zero out of it? Or do we try to raise more money while everybody's trying to pull their money out? So I see this as a potential disaster. And if you look and see how many data centers have already been canceled or delayed, it's quite staggering.
Well, I think we just did like episode like 48 of Market on Close. I've been doing it for a few months now. And I've got to say, every night I do a little check into private credit and credit in general as part of like the research for the show. And I have not seen a single indication of anything improving in that market. Every piece of news I get is slightly worse than the piece of news before it. And that is a very consistent trend. Bad fucking news, which is probably important. It's not a crisis, right? We printed a lot of fucking money, but it's like it's just getting closer and closer to being one.
Yeah. So so another thing to talk about in regards to the consumer is that bank earnings just came out and they have somewhat of a pulse on the consumer, looking at things like charge off, write-offs on consumer credit, things like that. And it doesn't seem to be crazy there. So I don't know. I kind of regard it as,
I mean, their
it's just been
trading profits were way up. Net,
yes.
like their lending profits were up, and like they're making a lot of money in the volatility on their like all of their underwriting. But that's not like a good sign for the consumer, that the consumers are just taking shitloads of loans at extraordinarily high interest rates. Right? That seems bad for the consumer.
Yeah, so this is so that was also really interesting. I think, back to the K-shaped economy, the people at the top, the people who are doing most of the speculation in the market, yeah, they've taken on a ton of margin, right? And we just look at like South Korea, and I'm pretty sure South Korea, there's a very good chance that it's margin call Monday for basically the entire population of South Korea. Um,
If only their
there's
stock market consisted of more than 2 stocks.
there's been a lot of chatter about how a significant amount of Koreans have been margin called with negative balances, so they have to put up cash to break even. So they're all
Wow.
sitting on not just like zero, they're sitting on negative, and that's I mean, you could have expected that, right? If you looked at their leverage, it exploded, right? And if you look at
Yeah.
our leverage, I know a few weeks ago I put up that FINRA chart of the leverage to holdings, margin to holdings, and it was like 3x, which is about as high as you can really get in aggregate. It's usually about 2x. 1.5 to 2x. And yeah, so I think something similar is going to happen here at some point. You look at the banks, and yeah, they had stellar earnings mostly on the back of crazy trading returns.
Mm.
But that's great for the banks, but it's not long-term sustainable because that money drains out of the consumers, right? The consumers do a lot of trading, and then there's basically that tax that acts as friction and acts as a brake that just dissipates the money out of the people who are doing the trading. So you lose momentum from that friction. And
That's
yeah,
okay.
it's
Those banks are gonna need that money to make up for the $30 billion a month shortfall from the Fed's rollover on their balance sheet.
well, that was another surprising thing because, as you know, I'm like obsessed with the SLR supplementary leverage ratio, which
Mhm.
is a Basel III endgame thing, and basically it's kind of an alternative measure. They don't like to publish it, right? They always publish the other measure, the set one to
Mm.
assets or something like that, and that's always like 11 to 15%. Looks nice. Um, but that one allows you to include things like US bonds and your,
Yeah, it
high
makes lying
value.
easier.
Yeah, and they bury the SLR in like page 26 of the supplementary document, but in most of them, if you go to the supplementary document that they publish and just type in leverage or supplement, it's I keep wanting to type in supplemental and it never shows up because it's like supplementary, but just type in
Mm.
leverage and it'll pop up. And not a single one of them went up this quarter for the
Shocker.
G-SIBs. I looked
Mm.
at all of them.
Well, and
A lot of
remember,
them were flat, but some of them were down.
yeah, I guess,
Um,
mm, well, I guess for the viewers that don't know, the Fed, so we got some really tight SOFR funding at the end of 2025, and it was starting to act as a serious drag on short-term cash. And Jay Powell, in his infinite wisdom, stepped in with the Fed's rollover, and decided to fully invest all of it into bills at a rate of $40 billion per month. In March and in May, that number was reduced to 30 and then 20 billion, and then, or March and April, sorry. And now it has been reduced to 10 billion. And that basically means that that additional, 10, 20, and now $30 billion starts to roll over onto the bank's reserves, as they are prime dealers and have to go to the treasury market and buy whatever the Fed doesn't. And that's, you have a treasury that's issuing about, what, $155 billion a month in debt, roughly, every month. And they have to the banks are going to have to fill that gap, which means that their supplemental liquidity reserves will go down, as will the Fed's reserves on their balance sheet. And so the Fed wants to reduce their reserves, which takes away the padding from the banks. And then the banks without padding become more exposed to their non-marketable security risk. So the securities that they can't sell unless they sell them at a loss, which is a significant number of their holdings, start to affect their balance between total assets and like deposits pretty dramatically over time.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that they're already really low. Like for large G-SIBs, the minimum SLR is 5%. Goldman Sachs gets a pass because they're large, but they're not like super large, so they get something like 3.5 or something. But they're at like 3.8, and the banks are out like 5.3 to 5.8. None of them went up. Some of them went down over the last quarter. And what's
this
crazy to
quarter should
me,
be more dramatic.
yeah, what's crazy to me is that the Fed did all this buying to prop up balance sheets, and they still got worse.
What if they reported all of that money they saved as trading earnings? Or interest income, net interest income. I mean, it's almost like free money, right? You were wondering how the money got printed. Maybe that's how.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really wonder how the money gets printed. It's pretty obvious how it gets printed, but yeah, sorry, my dog is very excited for dinner. So if you just give her a minute, she'll chill.
I thought she was excited for Basel III discussion.
Oh, she fucking hates Basel III. She's heard all of my rants and she's over them.
Well,
She's like,
it's still not been adopted yet, or have they set a date yet for it?
I mean, it's been adopted. I mean, they've chosen to adopt it. They're all already publishing it and abiding by it.
That's good. I think so. Girk knows this, but as far as background with me, at one point I was doing Basel II and Basel III calcs for a company I used to work for. And that was back in 2011. So that's what I mean.
Yeah, we really don't like to actually have restraint and actually evaluate risk.
Yeah. I mean, it's good on paper, but yeah.
And well, I mean, it's moral hazard, right? Because the Fed, they know, like, well, if anything bad happens, the Fed's going to come in and do exactly what they've been doing, right? And so why actually handicap yourself while everybody else? It's literally the prisoner's dilemma.
Yeah.
Like they all have to just be irresponsible, or else they will lose to somebody else who's irresponsible. And those people will get bailed out. So it's either do it or die. But yeah, so another thing regarding the resilient consumer, I've been looking at, obviously the inflation numbers came out this week or last week, and they were low, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Were they?
Well, if you dig into the detailed list like I like to, they didn't seem that low, and the ones that seemed low didn't seem like they were realistic, like healthcare. Healthcare is still magically just going down some months by a lot.
Fucking wild. Is that like our like import inflation is up like it was up, first of all, 0.3% month over month and 0.4 on capital goods, but like up like 7.1% from last year. And imports from China are up 0.9%, Meanwhile, which is the largest advance since Jan of 2008. I thought that was somewhat significant.
Wow.
Yeah. But so the way that I've started looking at it is I just look at PCE per capita. And it's been at 5% ever since 2022. And it's been pretty flat. So it spiked and then it came down during the Biden oil short. And then it was perfectly flat at 5% till now. And it's basically just people are paying as much as they can for whatever they can and cutting it off there. They can't manage more than that. And they just ride it out. And so I think inflation has to be at least 5%.
Yeah, I mean, I think this speaks to something that you guys have talked about for years now, which is the average consumer is just continuing to rack up more credit debt, right? But there is also the incentive to kind of keep things going because nobody wants to be the catalyst for the market to finally crash and go back to normal, right? So there's almost this level of just keep it going as long as it keeps going, and people are going to keep buying because they have to. But when do things eventually drop out?
Yeah, and with oil, we're going to get another print on oil here in 4 minutes with the beginning of World War III crystallizing right now in the Middle East. So it's gonna get weird.
Yeah, speaking of, for those that lived under a rock, you want to let them know what the U.S. did this weekend?
Bomb war crimes. Yeah, war crimes.
Ooh.
Yep. I tried keeping this week's, our agenda a little bit less Iran-centric, but you got to at least have something in there.
Yeah, it's so hard because everything's connected, right? Like everything is intertwined with everything else. That's why our conversations always meander so much, because it's like, well, this is connected to that, and that will affect this, and this will have an effect on that. And it's just this big web where everything is connected in a million little ways. And that's why it's difficult to like turn macro into a prediction, right? Because there's so many variables that are all intertwined that everybody tends to overweight one factor or another and say like, oh, this is bad, therefore there will be more bad things. But that bad thing could be offset by some other things and that you didn't take into account. And so, but yeah. So I think resilient consumer looks great on paper for those who are bean counting and need them to look great. I think that's the takeaway there.
Yep.
All right. Japan. Are we finally getting to the point where we see some real reversal of the carry trade in Japan?
Are we? That's a good question.
Everybody's talking about it. Bloomberg, Business Insider, Economic Times. Business Insider calls it a slow motion currency crisis. I would say the slow motion part is very true.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been waiting for this to hit ahead for a while. Are we kind of at a point where we should expect an acute thing, or are they going to find how much time can they continue to delay the inevitable? And what effect will it have on stonks?
It's a good question.
It's tough because I know you guys have talked about the carry trade for a long time now, but yeah, it's kind of like from Austin Powers, where the steamroller truck's coming over and the one guy's like in front of it and it's just taking forever. Like, it's going to come at some point, but when?
I mean, it's taken, decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to nail it down because it's taken so long, and every time you think they're running out of room, they find another way to. It's like maybe we'll get copyright violation, but there's a Looney Tunes episode, Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam, where Bugs Bunny draws a line in the sand and dares Yosemite to step over the line. Says, "Step over this line. I dare you to step over this line." And he's like, "I'm a stepping," and he steps over it, and then he draws another line and says, "I dare you to step over this line." He steps over it, and then he goes, "Now this one. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one." And he just draws lines all the way up to the edge of a cliff and then gets Yosemite to step off the cliff. I feel like that's where we're at. I don't know where in that process we are, but
it's somewhere there.
Remember when 150 USD JPY was like the line in the sand, and now we're at like 162.
Mm-hmm.
And 160 was the line in the sand, right? And, the rates keep going up in Japan, and they keep not doing anything about it.
True. Japan has made some recent moves to reallocate its GPIF fund, which is basically like their big state pension. And it's like $1.81 trillion into domestic assets, or increase its allocations of domestic assets in an effort to drive their yields down. However, that doesn't seem to be working. That's all. Yeah. And then the Japanese so that was last week. It was the Minister of Finance came out and asked them, and they were like, "Oh, we're allocated until whenever." And then this last week, the Japanese Prime Minister came out, so mounting political pressure to reinvest those funds into back into domestic assets, which would be a huge amount of repatriation, which we've talked about on here significantly.
Yeah, another risk that we're not really pricing for. But, what can you do? You can't price it, right? I mean, I would say we're definitely at the point now where the only way to recover is a crash. I don't really see how we can gently unwind this. Either we just keep going somehow forever, or maybe we just get runaway inflation and we never see an actual crash because the dollar devalues faster than the other stuff devalues. But it just seems like the unwind is going to be violent. There's just too much leverage for it not to be. But yeah, I mean, we'll keep watching and waiting. 162.50 is the new line in the sand. Don't cross this line, Yosemite.
I'll see if our video editor this week's able to do anything with it. I'm sure they won't be able to get the Looney Tunes one, but maybe they can get an image or two.
I wouldn't mind getting another Looney Tunes one with the Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny ripping the no hunting sign off of the tree, except it says Strait of Hormuz open and closed.
That would be good.
Can we AI like Trump and whoever the Ayatollah is now on their heads?
Yep. Open, close. Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of, yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
Yes, Ron, you have something you want to say as you've been platformed?
Yeah, I was going to say the strait's supposed to start opening again, right? Market hours are coming up.
Well, it's 5:04. It should be open for 4 minutes now.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear the apparently like the CENTCOM, US CENTCOM was Central Command was telling on the radio, it's like telling a ship that it's safe to go through the Strait of Hormuz on the southern side. And you could hear some sailor in the background just shout, "Fuck off." So I think, things are going well, I would say, in the Middle East as we commit war crimes against where everybody's just committing war crimes now. I mean, both sides. It's a free-for-all. The gentleman's rules of war are kind of going out the window. It's getting kind of dirty over there.
Yeah, well, I think more importantly, it's expanding regionally. We're starting to see Yemen get involved militarily. We're starting to see more targeting of the Saudi exports through Yaban, or whatever the fuck it's called, out into the Bab el Mandeb Strait, which, you know, on the hills across the shorelines of Djibouti, and just
Djibouti.
shooting rockets at anything that goes into the Suez, and that's an easier strait to close than the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is like 30 miles wide, and the Suez Canal at its like narrow points can be blocked by like a single vessel. So yeah, I would say it's a pretty big deal.
Lots of fond memories of Djibouti. Also, Ron, can you do like a poll, like a social poll, and see if referring to the Houthis.
I mean, probably not, but we could put that out there. We can put that in this episode's social questions for everyone.
I think we need to get some feedback on that.
Yeah.
What happened?
So, well, for everyone listening, there's debate among whether referring to the Houthis or off color. So we'll put that in the question for people to vote.
Aren't they like a domestic, like not only a domestic but also an international terrorist organization?
What, the Tusken Raiders or the Houthi?
Both, actually.
Yeah, I didn't say which one it might be racist towards.
Are we worried about
it? Could be. Yeah, it could be racist towards the Tusken Raiders. The point is that I don't know. This is like a social moray that I haven't really dove into to get sentiment on this. What is the social consensus on?
I think it was more offensive that you called them terrorists because they might be freedom fighters. It depends on your vantage point.
Yeah, but they are like a recognized and established terrorist organization.
Yeah, honestly, I would say that the word terrorist has less meaning nowadays than freedom fighter.
I could refer to them just more accurately. I mean, they're like the...
Because didn't Trump try to declare or actually declare that Antifa is a terrorist organization? And we're just like, okay.
Yeah.
When you think back to like not after 9/11 and people talked about terror, everyone was just like terrorists. But now it's just like, yeah, you're a terrorist. I'm a terrorist. It's like when everybody in politics starts calling each other Nazis, and then like an actual Nazi like Trump gets into office, and everyone's just like, well, we can't use that word because we already overused it.
Yeah.
Same thing with terrorist.
Give it enough time, everything wears its way out.
I mean, I will read you this from their Wikipedia, and you tell me
the Houthis or the Tusken Raiders.
This is the Houthis.
Specify.
The Houthis.
Okay.
The group has been a central player in Yemen's civil war, drawing widespread international condemnation for its human rights abuses, including targeting civilians and using child soldiers. The movement is designated as a terrorist organization by some countries. The Houthis are backed by Iran and widely considered a part of the Iranian-led axis of resistance.
And what does the Wikipedia
Tusken
say
Raiders
about Tusken
don't have
Raiders?
a race. So
that's presumptive.
How would we? Well, we don't know what they look like because they wear like sheets and little spiky helmets.
Yeah, they've got their whole thing on them.
There's been no lore or anything about what's underneath the sheets?
I'm sure I'm sure in the books, but that was all thrown out as not being canonical.
We need a canonical background of what the Tusken Raiders are. Anyway, we've gone quite far off topic. So there's no way to transition cleanly, so I'm just going to do a hard transition. And I want to transition to equities and in particular small caps, performance and rate expectations.
Well,
so it does seem like people are talking about it does seem like does seem like there's a little bit of a rotation from one to the other, or at least that's what people are saying. Is that even so? I always, again, back to like the macro discussion and it being affected by a million different things, and so it's hard to be predictive because it's hard to know what's actually causing what. It's very similar in equities as well, right? I could make a similar argument, and I think probably a better argument, that everything else is going up when all this stuff that people were in before is going down because of the short vol trade. And so to keep vol short and allow these big things to go straight down, everything else has to go up.
Interesting.
And when does that unwind? When something unwinds, right? Leverage has to unwind. But I mean, certainly small caps are not like a safe haven. The only safe haven in the market is clearly Apple. To me, that's a much more interesting question. Why the fuck is Apple at like $320 a share?
I mean, I feel like with Apple, half of that has to do with you're sort of locked into their ecosystem. They did a really good job with that. People who have an iPhone are really reticent to want to switch. So, you've almost got a product where if your iPhone breaks, you're not going to go out and buy an Android. You're going to go out and buy another iPhone, right? So there's like this built-in level of you're just dedicated to the brand. And then it's so complementary where it's like, okay, hey, I've got an iPhone. I might as well get an iMac. While I'm at it, I might as well get the Apple earbuds. I might as well get this and that. So I think just even if you were to discount all of their technology and stuff, it's like their ecosystem alone is certainly much more sticky than anything else.
So yeah, I agree with that. And I'm not saying that they're not a good company. I'm just saying all of that being true, their revenue growth just really isn't it doesn't support like $250 a share, much less 320. But it just keeps like people just keep piling in. It's almost just like people think that it can't go down, and so that's like the only true safe haven. I don't know. It just seems crazy to me. It seems a lot crazier to me than small caps, which can be volatile. Especially if there is any sort of credit unwind, you could very easily see huge, positive runs in small caps because everybody tends to be so short those. And so if there's an unwind, they're unwinding levered shorts. So it could go up. I mean, the point is that when things start to fall apart, stuff gets more volatile. So you got to stop looking at like what's going up and what's going down right now, but look at how much are prices changing all over the market and how much are betas changing as well. And so when I see things like, a couple of semiconductor darlings go straight up, Mag 7 go down, and then those semiconductors go down, some of the Mag 7 go up, some of them keep going down, other things going up. I see volatile chaos, which is bad for short vol trades, which is what is kind of, driving a lot of what's happening in the market.
Yeah. I mean, I'd agree with you. I think in some ways, Apple has almost been a little bit more conservative of the Mag 7 as far as not just offering as much hype. There's been a lot of products delivered and services delivered over the years, right? And I think they're taking a little bit of time before really going in on AI has probably worked out for them to some degree. I still think that they're producing a lot, and I think it isn't as much just hype and what could be. They've got a pretty sustained delivery record.
Oh, I agree. I don't think anything is hype. I'm not sure why it is as strong as it is. But yeah, I mean they played the AI game brilliantly. I even said from the beginning, they're the smart ones by not getting involved. Everybody was like poo-pooing them because they weren't being leaders in AI. I was like, there's nothing to lead there. And sure enough, now we've got AI models are now commodities and everybody's fighting as, costs are becoming prohibitive and the money's starting to get shut off to all of these AI labs. I hate calling them labs, but they call themselves labs. Everybody's fighting over like how much it should cost and whose model is more righteous than the other models. And there's half a dozen models. Kimmy just dropped the new Kimmy model, which everybody is freaking the fuck out about how they quote unquote distilled Claude and ChatGPT and basically reverse engineered, took the outputs of those models, queried the model, took the output and used that output to train another model to then give the model away. It's an open weight model, which means that I can download the model and run it on my own compute. So if you marry that with the narrative from what's his face from not Anthropic, from what's the AI company that does war crimes? Palantir. Alex Karp. Yeah, when he was ranting on CNBC about how all these businesses are starting to get wise that these AI labs, when you send your queries and your files to their model on their servers, they're scraping it and they're collecting it and they're training on it and then they're trying to compete, right? You've got like Anthropic coming out and it's no surprise. Like, I don't think there's any mystery when Anthropic says that we're considering getting into the, the pharmaceutical game, like the biosciences game. It's because they're training on data from their bioscience and pharmaceutical customers, right? And so you've got good models that you can run yourself if you want to. There's a push to get a lack of trust, and all of these and the models are all too expensive because they don't do anything, right? They just output garbage. And so yeah, you have this situation where it's really becoming a quagmire of spending and nobody's really sure what's going on there. And Apple completely untouched by it, right? I mean, and it's just like, okay, well, whichever one wins, we'll put that one into the we'll put that one into the search bar on the Apple app that we need it, right?
Yeah.
We'll just yeah. It's like, does the world is nobody's just like, man, if only Apple made a model. Like what? Right? Could you imagine if we were in the same situation we were now, but Apple had $200 billion in the hole making models and building compute like everybody else? Like their business would look substantially worse. And yeah, I think that's the story. So yes, I'm not Apple's a great business. They sell a product that people like, but still, $320 doesn't make sense to me. Kirk, equities are your thing. What do you think about small caps?
I think they suck, and in an environment where credit's going to get worse, they're going to suck more.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Never been.
Well, speaking about credit and suck, let's move on to the last. I think the last topic we want to talk about before we get into earnings, which earnings are pretty spicy this week. We're starting to get back into earnings season, right? Banks always kick it off. The last thing I want to talk about is IPOs, right? So honestly, I mean, is it an IPO boom, Ron? Give me some color here. What, you think it's a boom?
So I think we've talked a little bit about how there's almost this race to get some of these IPOs across the finish line.
A race and a boom are very different.
Well, I think there's been a little bit of hesitancy going back and forth, right? But you can see that there's definitely, I think, a rush to get to the IPO before the market starts to go back down.
I think that window is closing.
Yeah.
If it hasn't already closed. And I think Elon Musk, for all of the criticisms that I and many others have of him, as a CEO, as a LARPing engineer, and as a human being, he is the king of equity funding, the absolute king. He's the Elvis Presley of equity markets. And he put on a masterclass to just say fuck you to Sam Altman, who's quote unquote stole his business, or not business, stole his nonprofit out from under him. And he stole his public offering out from under him, right? It's like, you're going to steal my nonprofit, I'm going to steal your public offering. And he sopped up that money, beautiful, beautiful sopped up. That all those investors are now underwater. We'll see. I mean, it'll probably bounce. I'm sure we'll talk about it. But you look at OpenAI has published an S1. Anthropic has published an S1. And now we've heard nothing, right? And even OpenAI, well, the things we have heard from OpenAI is maybe we'll push it back to 2027. And what that means is that the banks are they're shopping this around and they're not getting the interest they need to put this on the market, right? And honestly, I mean, again, this is a private equity story, right? They waited so long and stayed in the private equity community for so long, and they were so generous that there was no reason to go out, and they got so levered that now it's like the valuation is too crazy. And then SoftBank kind of shot OpenAI in the foot, I think. I mean, it's like,
well, the SoftBank CEO and his son came out last week and said, if you believe AI is in a bubble, you're stupid.
Yeah, you're a stupid poopy pants, and what are you going to do about that? No, I think if you gave $60 billion to Sam Altman, you're stupid. But that's just me. But that's the problem, is that like that valuation, I mean, that's what valued them at like 850 billion or whatever they're at. So they have to clear a trillion. And yeah. I don't think I think the banks are going around trying to garner interest, and they're not getting it. And they're coming back to OpenAI and saying it's not there. You're going to have to get your books in better shape. And I don't know what they're going to do to get their books in better shape, especially now with like this Kimmy thing that dropped and everyone's freaking out. But everyone's just moving away from the expensive models to begin with, because the models don't output valuable things. They just output things. And nobody can figure out what the value of those things are. Like, yeah, we're getting output. What's the value? Some of it we can use, some of it we can't. Some of it we can sort of use, some of it we can't use at all. What do we value it as? And we don't know how many times we have to ask it to get what we want.
Right.
And so, you look at some of the other companies too. I don't know about all these on the list from the Barron's article, but I know Databricks, they just did their Series M for Monster. So they're not interested in jumping into this IPO. So it's not like there's a frenzy. It is Elon Musk took what was out there and shut the door on everybody else. And I don't see how all these companies are going to try to IPO while at the same time you've got private equity and private credit trying to get the fuck out. They're trying to get out now, not wait for the IPO. They're looking at all the underwater shit it's on SpaceX and saying, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I had to just check SpaceX is down 20% since last month.
Yeah.
And it's only 5 weeks since their IPO.
I would just
they haven't even
called it.
You did.
We all called it.
Yeah, I know, we did.
I mean,
we did.
So many people called it. I mean, it's just like, yes, this market is crazy and speculation is crazy, but there's a limit. There's a limit for everyone, right? And I think even the people that bought it acknowledge that this is not a $2 trillion company, but it's Elon and it will be fun and volatile. And we're going to roll the dice on this because we're all degenerates. And they rolled the dice and it played out. Now they're all like, all right, now it's going to find its value, right? When does the lockup end? Is it October?
I think that sounds about right.
I think it's after the first earnings or something, first public earnings. I don't know. But yeah, it's not even locked. It's not even unlocked yet. I mean, it's trading like 5% of the float.
Wow.
That's the best amount of the float to trade.
Yeah, for volatility, for sure.
Yeah.
It's scary to short something like that. That's for sure. I'm sure. Do we know what the short interest is on SpaceX? Ron, maybe you could look that up and you could just drop it in. But I think we should probably, unless you have any last words you want to talk about the IPOs.
I think I'm good.
I think doors closing. I think the boats left the whatever boats leave the dock, the station. The boat has
like a good
Carg Island.
The boat has undone its mooring. All right, let's get into earnings. And there's a lot here. I don't know how much of it is valuable. Maybe we just go day by day and just pick out what we're interested in day by day. Because I mean, Monday.
I can't believe AMC is still a solvent business.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible.
I mean, I think they basically played GME right and just shut the hell up for the most part and took the money. So I think they did a pretty good job. I'd be kind of curious to see what happens with Domino's. I've actually been surprised. Same. Like, pizza's gotten competitive, and Domino's, for whatever reason, figured out how to make their pizza good again. It's not a pizza I sleep on anymore, if that makes sense.
Oh my god. I actually can't
have so many questions.
I can't do this show with Ron anymore.
That's because you're in New York and you can get good pizza. But, for other parts of the country.
Full disclosure,
there's got to be something better.
Domino's
can you get like a loaf of Wonder Bread and just put cheese on it?
American cheese?
That doesn't matter. Ketchup and cheese. It's still that's still got to be an improvement from Domino's. Maybe the Domino's I had last was not good, but it was exceptionally not good.
When was the last time you had Domino's?
Let me think.
So, as somebody who eats Domino's as well, you have to eat the Domino's within about 10 minutes of opening the box.
Yeah, the leftover is not good. And I will say, compared to New York City pizza, everything tastes like trash. But Domino's 5 years ago, compared to where they are now, it's not bad pizza. I'll say that.
I have probably not had Domino's in like 9 to 12 months.
That's not much different.
Yeah, it's probably about the same. But maybe it was also what, the specific franchise you went to.
Yeah, I will say I think their secret is they sell pizzas for $7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might do it. Well, is it really 7?
It's 7 if you pick it up, and then if you have it delivered or whatever, then they do the usual random math or whatever it is.
Yeah, like delivery and service charges, but that's not the tip, and then that
kind
of shit.
All those games.
Yeah, but I can go pick up my kids and then swing by the Domino's. And for 15 to, actually with all the GLP-1s flowing around in my house, we can almost get by on one pizza now. So literally $7 or $8. It's like, it's basically free.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
my kids will actually eat it. It's not healthy. It's not
No.
something you should eat all the time, but it's like if I need calories in my kids and I don't have time to fight or listen to complaints, $8, not bad. Anyway, that's way too much time spent on Domino's.
Yeah, let's go to Tuesday. So GM and 3M are going to be up. I'd also be curious with Ally what they're seeing as far as consumer banking.
Oh yeah, we got our I think we made this joke last quarter. We've got anally coming up.
I think you just made that joke in your head, but I don't think Tuesday is very interesting. Halliburton, I guess.
DR Horton,
Schwab.
Tuesday morning.
Do we care about DR
Yeah,
Horton?
we haven't talked about housing in a while, but whew.
Yeah. And then toward the end of the week, we've got AT&T, Tesla, IBM. Got some of the tech companies coming
Wednesday afternoon, we've got Tesla, Google, IBM, Texas Instruments. And keep in mind, IBM released guidance, was it last week or two? The weeks are all blending together. Just recently released guidance to say, hey, shit's not going so great.
Yeah.
I think it was in like their mainframe section. I'm not, people are still debating what it really means for, AI or not AI. But yeah, I mean, any sort of forward guidance before the earnings is never good.
No. And you got Lockheed Martin on Thursday too. That might be kind of interesting just to hear what they're seeing as well.
Yeah, it's like I'm not really sure what to think about the government contractors, because on the one hand, there is sort of a pushback on them and on universities, pretty much like traditional places that solve big and hard problems for the government, as like an enemy of the government and of the American people. And so they're like trying to hurt them by pulling money away. But at the same time, with all the war going on and all of the equipment that's being consumed, there's nobody else but government contractors that can refill those stockpiles.
Yeah.
So I feel like even if if for whatever reason their earnings are bad, to me they're unsellable.
Yep. And then finally ending the week, you've got Verizon, Charter, and I guess wrapping up all the telcos. And you got Amex on there too.
I mean, I think really the only thing that actually matters here is probably Alphabet's CapEx.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the larger narrative, yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, Dork, what do you think about? Oh,
That's
Dork's not
right.
here.
Yep, he's gone.
He's getting dirty river water up his butthole.
He's getting new forms of dysentery.
Yeah.
Hopefully
gross.
not. We need him healthy for next week.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to get into the calendar?
Yep.
CPI 3.5 versus a previous of 4.2. Below consensus estimates of like 3.8 or 3.9. So we already talked about how it was not really this is the year over year. It's not really that low, but the month over month inflation rate was minus 0.4, driven largely by
drops in energy
oil
prices. Yeah. I mean, the thing to note about this is oil prices were down for that month, and now they're back up again. So this is the most irrelevant print ever. I don't think we need to discuss it or PPI, but we probably should discuss import prices being way higher than expected.
Okay.
Well, I simply think that other countries don't have the access to the strategic reserves that we've drawn down in order to support Freedom Gasoline USA. And since we've basically drawn our reserves down to the sludge level that can be found in the salt mines that underneath wherever we keep them, we're not going to be able to do that anymore either. And so the second round of higher gas prices, which looks to be persistent for now, seems like it's going to go on a lot longer.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think the behavior and the decisions that we're making in the Middle East are reflective of the health of this situation. Like, if you want to get a sense of how bad this situation's getting, you just look at how frenetic we are in the Middle East, and we're pretty frenetic. So I know Trump came out during the MOU or whatever saying we had about 4 weeks left. I'm sure that was a exaggeration or an approximation that who knows how valid it was. But at the very least, you could tell that he's had discussions about this can't go on forever and it's coming up and he needs to get this resolved. And now the MOU didn't resolve it, so he's trying to resolve it quickly by being aggressive. And I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
I mean, I said before, and I'll say it again, he should have just nuked Iran.
Maybe you should elaborate on the
strategically speaking, his best option was to nuke Iran. That would have been the best path forward for the United States.
I just wanted to clarify because I got tricked earlier today. My son asked me, "What did you ask me?" He's right next to me. He listens. He's our listener.
Nice.
Now we know
about Hitler.
Do you respect the guy?
Oh yeah, it was. Do you respect the guy who killed Hitler? And I said, I don't know, sure. And he started laughing at me because Hitler killed himself. Suicide.
Yeah. Nice.
So he got me.
He got you dead.
Yeah. So he got me, and now I'm saying it on the record that I respect the person that killed Hitler, or at least I said that.
Allegedly.
Yeah. That I allegedly respect him, or that he allegedly
killed himself. There's a lot of tinfoil hat theories about where he ended up.
Oh, he's like him and Epstein are off somewhere.
No, that the real Hitler body was never found. That he ended up going off to South America somehow or something.
So they just like found another body and just took a Sharpie and drew a little mustache on him
and swapped dental records or something. I don't know. There's theories out there.
You know when they like close the case on that, like the people who drew the mustache on that guy's face, like were just like high five and be like, I can't believe that worked.
Yeah, I did that. So good, Hans. They believed it. Some nonsense like that.
I don't like it. How long have you been practicing that accent?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of different accents I can do, but best we don't dwell on it too much right now.
I kind of want you to finish the rest of this episode in an accent that can't be German. It has to be a different one.
I mean,
can you do Tuscan Raider?
I would have to hold the mic above my head the whole time and go.
So you can,
dude. So yeah,
confirmed. You can do Tuscan Raider. I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, okay. So I know we're up for a commercial. Do we want to do a commercial or we just want to power through?
Nah, let's power through.
Yeah. All right. All right. If you guys want to, what I'll do is I'll read us the questions because Dork and his little back end isn't here today, and you guys will probably answer these better than I would. So, first question comes from X. Would love to hear a segment on updates as well as a pedagogy on globalized financial plumbing or otherwise consequential institutionalized paradigms. And go.
Oh, okay. So I think this person is asking to just learn about financial plumbing. Perhaps they, at some point in the last few years, were introduced to the DTCC's continuous net settlement system, which we lovingly refer to as CNIS, and maybe they'd like to know more. Especially now as banks are trying to implement their own CNIS for transactions between banks. Yeah. I mean, we try to talk about it a little bit here. I don't know. I mean, you are our one listener, so we should probably cater to you. But I don't know how broad of interest there will be to go deeply into those. Because a lot of financial plumbing, it comes down to how quickly can you settle transactions and how robust can that be? Because that's really what all these markets are. They're ledgers. They're settled ledgers with a bunch of transactions. And who holds which ledgers and what can you do with each one? How do you interact with each ledger? It can be quite complicated, and each ledger, there's no like hard and fast rules. They're all very unique. And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we could maybe give us point this question a little bit more specifically to something that's on your mind that we could focus on for you.
I feel like we do this anyway, right? Like we bring up things like dollar funding, or we bring up the short end, or we talk about cross-currency basis trades or basis trades in general. We talk about treasury collateral and repo and central bank liquidity and swaptions and dealer balance sheets and clearing rules and settlement infrastructure and capital requirements and all of this shit that would have an additional layer of market structure that backs it and is built out into the globalized financial system. And then I feel like we explain that shit in great detail every time, and we've been doing it for 5 years. So is this?
And we're pretty irreverent as well. We try to make it.
Fun.
We try to make it entertaining.
Yeah, and I feel like this person's telling me that I haven't been doing.
Yeah, we're just
I've been
bad
doing
at it.
for 5 years. Like
I think
I'm insulted.
Yeah, well, take the criticism with grace. I think he's just very politely telling us that we suck.
Yeah.
Or maybe he or she is specifically looking for anything that you haven't covered that's particularly interesting.
But they don't know what that is? Like, that's...
Well, that's where maybe our invitation goes back to them for next week.
The global financial markets are the most complex thing ever made by man, by a long shot. Like it's such a vast breadth of knowledge that for any one person to understand it almost completely, they'd have to be me. And wow, good luck. You're going to need a serious dose of autism and some OCD.
All right.
No, but even I.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, please
be specific. Yeah, ask us a specific question every week.
Be more specific, and We'll be happy to.
We can get two. Hold on, we can get 2 viewers this way. We could get a second viewer. How about
listen to the show
every week? You find a new thing you want to learn about market plumbing, and you ask us, and then we make it like a little segment, just like you asked. But don't ask us to do the segment. Just ask us a fucking question in the segment where we already answer questions.
Okay, fair enough.
Perfect.
All right. Here's our next question, also from X. Thoughts on gold miner stocks?
Fuck 'em.
They'll continue to fall as long as oil and the dollar rise, correct? But at what point might a buying opportunity become undeniable?
There's no buying opportunity in gold miners. Gold is infinitely recyclable, and we have far more of it than we need. The only reason gold is up is because someone needs to hedge the eventual collapse of our fiscal structure. And those people are other central banks betting against the US because they're overexposed to our dollars.
So, what would be a decent alternative? And you could just respond with, listen to this or that, where I talk about it.
But you want to, wait, are we going back to the prior question?
No. I'm just saying, my follow-up question would be, if it's not safe, you're saying all of these central banks are trying to get out of the dollar and our financial system. What would be a better way to do that?
Gold.
Well, it's not crypto because you don't like
Just
crypto.
own the gold.
It's not crypto. It's never going to be crypto because crypto's fake.
No.
Gold is tangible and has been a monetary replacement for thousands of years.
Yeah.
It is the only universally accepted currency, technically.
No, I would push back on that. The only universally accepted currency is labor.
But what are you laboring for? You can't labor
Gold.
for more labor. Yeah, exactly.
Or silver.
Yes, you can. It's called living. Laboring for more labor is living.
I think that's just indentured servitude when you're when you labor and you're getting paid with more labor.
We all have needs and then we meet those needs. And sometimes we are able to meet our own needs ourselves. And sometimes we meet somebody else's needs and they meet our needs. That's like what the whole monetary system is based off of. It's us meeting each other's needs.
Good tie back to the first question. I liked it.
Yeah. Money is debt. Why don't you start there in terms of financial plumbing?
All right. Next question from Discord. Is Microsoft safe against the AI bubble since nobody uses Copilot?
No.
I'm assuming this is a joke.
Isn't Microsoft both heavily invested in ChatGPT and Anthropic? Like they didn't have enough exposure, or OpenAI and Anthropic.
I don't think
and Anthropic. Yes, they're heavily invested in both because they didn't have enough exposure. So Saida or whatever his name is decided, let's spend more money on this shit. Not to mention they're a hyperscaler, so they need to provide. They've been investing heavily in providing all of their cloud customers the AI tools that they want so badly.
Yeah. Well, and I think I know their gaming division, Xbox, hasn't been doing so hot. And then for Windows, I think they had a lot of security issues with just stuff that was coded with vibe coding. So they've got a lot of AI exposure.
I would argue that Microsoft is a fucking mess.
Yeah. Well, and they just did a huge layoff like last week or the week before.
They have no vision. They create and follow the most uninspiring, vapid narratives that you could come up with, right? And it's like, it is, I mean, let's be fair. It is amazing how far Microsoft has come selling a Word document editor. But man, like if someone said I needed to bet on them to innovate somewhere else, hell no. They're a mess.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes to us from YouTube. They wanted to ask about the narrative mainstream media is pushing regarding billionaires and bunker building. due to a potential world war or nuclear fallout. Seems like the real reason, after following a lot of All-Stars episodes, is they're building them to protect themselves from the pores after they blow up everyone's money.
Yes, after
Please
the
comment.
pores bail them out. Well, I mean, okay, so I don't think there's some like cabal of people who know about the end of the world before everyone else or something like that. I think there's like far too many amateur
Do you know what
astronomers
group?
have proven themselves better than NASA.
Do you know what group knows
Who?
when the end of the world
Me?
is?
You? Us?
The Tuscan Raiders.
Oh, yeah. Well, they would because they're fictional, and have no race or ethnicity because of that. Anyway, moving on.
Unconfirmed.
All we know is that they live in sand. We don't even know if they're humanoid. Well, they are humanoid, but what if they may not even have skin? Their skin may be the little sheets they wear.
Do they have genitals?
We don't know.
So
we don't know how they
on the
produce. It could
second,
be asexual reproduction.
but I did do a little bit on the first, and there's like some images of them kind of looking like mole people, and then there's some images of them looking like regular people that also just, I guess they have really sensitive skin or something, so they wrap themselves like mummies or whatever.
So they're white.
So probably.
Interesting.
Probably.
Just worried about sunburn.
Wait, do they have red hair? Am I about to be mortally offended by?
Yeah. I didn't see anybody with red hair.
Do they have freckles?
I'll admit I've only spent about 2 seconds kind of looking, but they look kind of like a combination of the guy from Watchmen, Rorschach, and minus the red hair, and Deadpool. So, along with some people that kind of look like mole people. So take that for what you will.
All right.
Now we've all learned something about Star Wars, except our listener. They already knew.
I never cared.
Yeah, I think in terms of the billionaires building bunkers, they're just it's a toy and it's a hedge and it doesn't cost much to them relatively, so they're just doing it.
I mean,
I don't know how serious it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we were gonna suffer financial collapse, they would have a very hard time incentivizing their own personal armies to continue to take care of them in their bunkers, because immediately any employee they had in a society where civilization had completely broken down would try to kill them and take over their bunker, because that's just the most efficient path forward for those people. And assuming those people are heavily armed and militarily trained, I feel like even a lizard person like
Brian Moynihan,
yes, or Zuckerberg,
who when their eyes blink, it's like this. Those people would even have a hard time dealing with like the squad of retired Navy SEALs that they'd hired to protect them from the pores, because those people would then also be poor. And there's actually been discussion among several billionaires, at least among a few of them, on how to continue to motivate their own private armies to protect them, and one of them is food scarcity. They've mentioned some other things, but I think ultimately we'll be fine, and bunkers aren't going to protect them.
We've got some really interesting
and then
questions
if all the
today.
billionaires bury themselves underground in a world where all assets are digital, who cares?
I have another.
We could still just seize all their assets, and they'd be stuck underground.
I have another theory. As a kid who grew up in the South with a lot of
preppers,
wooded space to go and play in, we would.
You play with your wood a lot as a child?
Yes. We would go and we would build stuff back there. We would build forts, and the first thing you want to do when you build a fort is, we need like a lookout. We need to build a tree house lookout for our fort. Or we need to build a secret tunnel.
Like a guard tower.
Yeah.
So as a child in the South at a young age, you were learning to build guard towers.
Yes, we also cut down cut the branches off of a specific dogwood tree that had the perfect fork on the top.
Ooh.
So that we could launch rocks at the house of this one bitch who hated us.
Nice.
Yeah.
So like a big slingshot?
Yeah, it was a big like catapult slingshot.
What did
thing.
you use as the
dogwood was flexible, so you could literally bend it all the way down to the ground, and then you just let it go. Whoosh.
Oh, nice.
Now, knowing your background as an engineer, at what point did you build a trebuchet?
I've never built a trebuchet, actually.
Wow.
Oh, me and you and Popcorn have something to do when we all meet up.
I'll build a trebuchet.
He wants to really badly. He used to send me like gifts of catapults almost every day.
We should build seats on the counterweight so we can be the counterweight.
So we go like a ride. I have a question. When you were launching rocks at this woman's house, did you ever consider what might happen if she was struck by one?
No.
Nice.
But
Typical
we did
children.
hit a We did hit a window once, and thankfully it didn't crack, but we were like, oh, this is really irresponsible and reckless.
Wait, you catapulted a rock at a window and it didn't crack?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Oh, is that like a southern thing because of the hurricanes? Oh, it was a small rock. Huh.
Yeah, so then we just resorted to shooting paintballs at her house.
Growing up in New York City was drastically different than that.
Yeah, I didn't have any experiences like Jay Fresh did.
No.
Well,
I mean, we had wood to play with, and there were guard towers, but it was a very different. The connotations were different.
So there's a creek that ran through, and we played on the other side.
I noticed you didn't call it a creek.
It's not. It's a creek, and we played on the other side where like nobody went back there except for us, like ever. And we built a little tower in the trees there, and she went back there and cut the trees down. Psychopath.
Yeah. Or just didn't want you in her yard.
But it was okay. I would have to like draw you the topography of this, because it was almost like a communal space sort of in between all the houses.
If some ginger children were running around behind your house in your trees, building guard towers, what might be your response?
Shoot them with paintballs.
Well, then I think she may have been less of a psychopath than you assume.
No, I'd probably go back there and help.
All right.
I kind of want to go. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, this gives us the perfect transition. It does. So Girk, this question goes to you specifically about the housing market, and whether or not there'll ever be a big run. Like specifically noting that because at this point we've got like the boomers dying off and oversupply
over the next 15 years, and it will exponentially increase.
And then we won't have to worry about building forts in the back of people's yards so that you can snoop on your neighbors.
No, this country has two things that it way more of than it actually needs. And one of those is houses. The other is dollars. And since both of those are in drastic oversupply, one or both of them are worthless.
Worthless.
No, worthless. Like one word. Yeah.
Harsh.
Yeah. Well,
they're not worth nothing.
Currently, the way it works is the more dollars we print, the more houses are worth. And the assumption that the houses are the real asset, but the dollar is not backed by houses. It's backed by credit.
Which is debt, which is labor.
Which is then gold. So, No, I don't think houses are going to have another big surge in value. Especially not. We just passed I got to dig into the new a little bit, just a little bit. I haven't dug deeply yet, but I got to dig in a little bit into the new Affordable Housing Act, or
starting to
whatever they're
dig
calling it. The
starting to
American
dig a
Home
little bit of a
Builders Affordability Act.
bunker
No,
into the.
not a bunker, not a bunker. But I did discover that despite our current government's communist, anti-communist, and anti-socialistic rhetoric, this bill seems to be rife with subsidy. Subsidy for the most unqualified of American people, the general contractor. As a general contractor, you can now basically get as much money as you want, interest-free, to build shit.
What?
Yeah. It's just a bunch of funding for people to build homes.
And are there any benefits to being a Somalian?
So it's
No.
just to make.
Oh,
So it's just to make sure that they have the liquidity they need to. Because I mean, that's
They want
the
them to,
only thing I can think of
keep
is.
building homes, but the interest rates have gotten too high. And so they're like, well,
Yeah.
we'll just give you the money. Tax for like the PPP loans. Almost like the PPP loans. So like just a broad, sweeping set of subsidies. And then a ban on central bank digital currencies till 2030. That's also included in the bill. That's part of keeping homes affordable. And blocking hedge funds from buying the thing that they finished buying and are currently trying to sell for 300% more than they bought it for. I will be clear, hedge funds have not been buying homes for about 4 years now. You're buying the top, they're selling it to you.
No, I'm not buying the top.
No.
I'm dying in this
You bought the
house.
middle.
I bought the early middle. Early middle.
Wait until Zillow's got 900,000 local listings from people over the age of 90 that have died. Imagine the fixer-upper potential of modernizing your mid-century Gothic revival.
ooh.
Yeah. That you bought for $10,000 because it's been abandoned for 12 years. Because Texas has become too hot and the power grid has become too unstable to support air conditioning.
Honestly, when AI collapses, we're gonna have so much power.
Yeah, but your water will be poisoned.
I have good. We've successfully
your
blocked
water
all
even come from?
dictators.
Do you guys just have reservoirs, or
It comes from the water table. We have a very high water table in Texas.
oh, all right, interesting.
That's why there's no
You
basements.
just got like
Texas.
a 3-foot deep well.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, I don't. City does.
Okay.
All right, next question. Kirk has mentioned the next area of the semi trade being in metals or raw materials. Can you dive into what materials or stocks you think are likely to benefit from this rotation?
I won't dive into the stocks, but we discussed this earlier. Copper and tin are obviously the two most sought after, commodity metals, and then everything else starts to break down into like weird rare earth minerals that nobody can really effectively trade. So you can look for like rare earth mineral miners in the US and try to benefit off the back of China reducing global supply vis-a-vis legislation, which they've been doing quietly in the background, cutting off the silicon supply to the West, because we thought it would be a really good idea to let China mine all of the stuff we need for anything that runs on an electrical current. But then, gallium, I guess, would be next up. JFresh should probably also know this better than me, even. But like germanium, and then it starts to get
gallium,
real fucking
germanium.
obscure from there.
If you want to do metals, indium is good metal. I don't know. I don't trade metal commodities or
A lot
anything.
of the like the rare earth minerals are fairly like you get some sort of broad fund that had exposure to them, but a lot of them are like very difficult to kind of like get exposure to directly.
Yeah, I still so I saw something really interesting. There are EV companies, well, motor companies that are looking much more into induction motors, which essentially operate without magnets because they are so concerned about the rare earth minerals that go into magnets. So just go and look up what makes a magnet and look for all the things in there. Do some digging and get those because the world runs on magnets, spinning magnets. And you can make motors that don't require magnets, but they are very complicated to make and they are not as performant.
I just got done doing like a 50-minute breakdown of the like macro uranium outlook over on the members stream. That was fun.
And that'll
Yeah,
be available
okay.
tomorrow, right?
Yeah, at midnight.
For anybody who's not a member yet. All right. Good question. Next one. Can Dad talk about the odds of 2026 actually ending up as a bear market?
Well, actually, here's a fun fact. Semiconductors are already in one. They on Friday's close, they were officially down 20.2% for the month.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know how useful
from
it
their
is
high, I guess from the June high. Sorry, but 18%
I don't know how
for the
useful
month.
it is to talk about an actual number for the odds, but I mean,
yeah, that's useless. Things are looking bleak.
And it's, I mean, I think everybody kind of sees that this is going to start unwinding. The speed is, I mean, it's already starting to unwind, right? I mean, like Korea's in a countrywide margin call.
Kim
The
Jong's
U.S.
been
is
waiting for
probably
this moment for so long.
the U.S. is probably not too far behind. I mean, we're way over levered. The AI build out is kind of starting to look like shit. It's just kind of a matter of time before it comes back to
Are you
earth.
saying Asian markets are going to lead U.S. markets into a crash like they do every time?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder why that happens that way.
But to
it's
say
almost
it's
like
going to
there'd be a
happen,
reason that their markets crash. Where it's,
yeah.
Huh.
Hey, we already answered question 1.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I still like September. I'm gonna stick with September.
I'm okay with like,
but
really,
I could see it. I could see it dragging into the winter.
I can see it happening sooner.
Yeah, any day now.
I can see
yeah.
Alphabet announcing Wednesday, like, "Hey, we've rethought our hyperscale capex, and we don't think we want to spend any money on data centers for the rest of this year."
Yeah, the market is 5 centimeters dilated.
It's crowning
actually got
and
some
crowning.
Well, I don't think it's crowning yet.
No?
Crowning is crowning
which
is
step
just
is
like
that? Is that like right before it happens?
yeah, that's like we have days.
I'm just going off of what I've heard on medical television shows.
Well, if you want to know, I've seen a few.
Medical
got my hands
television
into some of
shows?
them. No.
Oh, you had to pull
He's
your
got the
own
real
children out of the
experience.
womb?
I mean, no,
Oh.
but I got them a little. I didn't get involved until they were a little farther along than inside the womb.
So you cut the
But
umbilical
yeah.
cord.
No.
Oh.
You know, like help. So the fun thing is like everybody thinks it's like, oh, it's the head that is the big because it's like the big thing that you have to push through. The head kind of comes through okay.
The shoulders.
It's the shoulders. Yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
T-shaped
And so
babies.
and you actually Yeah, so the head wants to come out, nose up, but it's too wide, right? I mean, it's so the head comes out, and then you have to rotate the baby like 90 degrees to get the shoulders through.
That makes
and it's
sense. It's
during
like
that
it's like taking a couch through a small doorway.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so it's during that rotation that the baby just the spring just uncoil like the baby just goes boop. So you're turning it and like waiting for it to just go boop, and then you catch it.
I feel like there's a title for this episode somewhere in there, along with Tusken Raiders. I'll have to think on that one.
Dilated Tusken Raiders.
Ew.
There you
the
go.
markets. Yeah, maybe we could just make out the hair color, but even that seems a little early for the market. I still like the fall.
All right. Next question. Will war beat out earnings, or are we stuck waiting for NVIDIA earnings end of August again before dispersion trade goes away?
I don't think anybody
The
gives a
dispersion
shit
trade's
about...
already breaking down. Starting to. I mean, it's hard to contain it when it's at the levels it's at right now. Short vol is so over leveraged currently that like the shift in geopolitical situation that has been occurring is already extremely detrimental to them holding on, at least at these levels. So I would say that we'll probably see volatility continue to move up in the near term a little bit. Maybe some recovery and dispersion into the midweek as we get into tech earnings. But if those are nasty, it'll all blow up probably real fast.
Yeah, I don't know.
Correlations are at literal all-time lows.
Yeah, and as far as NVIDIA earnings go, I mean, I don't think it's any secret anymore that they're doing funny business. I mean, it's even come out recently, they're now doing vendor financing.
Oh, nice.
Right? Which is just like...
Which sounds like
and
something
we've
they've just
talked...
been doing all along.
Yeah. Well, through more nuanced means, right? Like now they're just actually vendor financing. So like they're basically going to these neoclouds and saying, "Oh, you don't have the money to buy my next generation of chips. Just well, you just sign away a portion of your future revenues, and we'll call it a day." Right? So they're still trying to like keep all this shit off their books as much as they can, but I think the parallels between the .com dynamics and now, I mean, we've even got like compute futures now. It's like Enron and Lucent and all those players all over again. Like it's
Yeah.
This situation is very different from the .com boom, but there are a lot of similarities, and everybody's already picked up on it and been talking about it for months, and now it's just becoming really obvious. So I think even NVIDIA's going to come out and say we have 75% margins like they always do, and everyone's going to be like, okay, but what does that really mean? I don't think anybody trusts the numbers anymore.
Who funded those margins?
Yeah.
If you have 25% margins and you take 50% of your capital on hand and reinvest it into yourself, but call it profit, don't you just have 75%?
I will say I don't think NVIDIA is going to be the one that starts the unwind. It will be somebody
No, Jensen's
further...
far too committed to the graft.
Yeah, it'll be someone further.
It'll be someone higher. Well, I think it'll be someone higher up the supply chain.
Ooh.
Like China.
So you'll like this next question, and we've kind of touched a little on this, but recently there have been some murmurings about AI-related CapEx and data center build-out, specifically about how OpenAI seems to be the Lehman Brothers adjacent linchpin in all of it. Considering Larry Ellis bet the farm on OpenAI by taking margin loans on his Oracle shares, and Masayoshi Son also going balls deep with SoftBank, how much credence is there to the notion that OpenAI is the biggest risk factor in this bubble?
Yeah, I have like a whole thing I want to say for this. So give me a minute. But when this all started, these massive banks and tech companies had only one choice, and that was to rush madly for the door in an effort to get through it first. And so no amount of money or time or effort would have dissuaded them from pursuing this to its ultimate end, which was general intelligence. And so you shouldn't fault these CEOs and these bank presidents for what they had to do in an effort to remain competitive in the changing technological landscape. And when you hear that statement 16 months from now at a Senate hearing on bailing out OpenAI, I would like you to remember this moment and call your local senator or congressman now and tell them that you don't support bailing out any of these fucking people because they're all idiots.
Yeah. I mean, I have one of the reasons why I've been ranting about it for years is I want to make it very clear that this was knowable. This was foreseeable from the start.
Yeah,
and it was stupid.
Just worse yet, like these are the wealthiest people in the world, and they have spread a narrative of religious idolatry towards what are essentially like stochastic parrots. And
you're going to make a lot of people upset by saying that in 2026, but you're right.
I know. And they have nearly pushed the entire tech industry to the point of future insolvency. This was the greatest achievement capitalistically of mankind up until this point, and they've almost pushed it to the boundaries of insolvency, chasing this fucking pipe dream that any mid-level engineer with some semblance of a background in mathematics could have told them was a waste of fucking time. And they have promoted it endlessly. They have tried to make you fear it. They have done everything they feasibly could to hold it up as the next most important revolution in technology. And to this day, it still can't tell me how to tell Nuke to make something better. Like,
yeah.
Fucking useless. It's the most expensive, useless pile of shit. And it's like, I mean, graphene before it, and like, it's all the same people that chased the graphene bubble when we were in a fucking recession.
Whoa, it's not the same people.
It's all the same fucking private investment and equity groups. The fuck it isn't.
Okay.
Do you know how much money Apollo lost chasing like fucking bridges to the moon? I mean, and ended up with like slightly better toothbrush bristles. I mean, like it's just a big fucking waste of money.
Slightly better sunscreen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Also slightly better sunscreen. And more like slightly more see-through Lululemon shorts for men.
Ooh. Ugh. How dare you? You just took me on the world's shortest roller coaster.
You just sit in the seat and then you have to get back off again.
All right. Getting us back to China. This is a good question. China getting involved in the Iran-US conflict, and what is the likelihood as the strait remains closed? Secondly, if China gets involved, how likely is it that they will invade Taiwan?
China's already involved. Who the fuck do you think China's is buying Iran's oil?
Yeah.
Also giving them weapons.
Yeah.
There's a few questions
and
in here.
Apparently targeting systems.
That's true. Even with the TSMC fab rigged to be scuttled, the old Middle Kingdom one China policy, things should preclude the immediate AI semi-economic motivations? Yes or no?
I actually think China doesn't give a fuck about Taiwan anymore. They got their own ASML fabs right there on the mainland.
Yeah,
They're good.
They're trying to.
They're good.
They're already trying to swoop in on the
I think at
high
this point
bandwidth
they'd
memory.
want TSMC to self-scuttle. Because then they just get a larger market share.
And lastly, related to these questions, what would STD or what would Sun Tzu do?
Sun Tzu would commit Iran to be the proxy between the U.S. and China, while economically supporting Iran's war in the Middle East. That the U.S. will eventually bankrupt themselves pursuing a resolution to, while China economically takes over the rest of the globe.
Yeah.
Which they're doing.
Read.
This is happening right now.
Yeah.
This is not, and we're not even in like stage 1 of it. We're in like stage 9.
I don't think people understand, and this is a specific. This is a longer term trend, but this is definitely being exacerbated greatly by Trump 1 and Trump 2. Is a war on intelligence. And, there was something that came out, it was like a week or 2 ago, that, a Nobel Prize winning chemist is moving his lab to China because China came up to him and said, "Here's millions of dollars. Come exist in China. Come just do whatever you want to do in China. No, no red tape, no quarterly reports, no constantly trying to convince the public that what you're doing is worthwhile. It is self-evidently worthwhile to them to foster intelligence and innovation, that they are poaching our greatest minds." That is scary to me. And I don't know. I mean, the funding situation is difficult enough that I get it.
There's a quote that's attributed to like Sun Tzu. I don't actually think he said it, but it's like fuck. Trying to remember. It's like never interrupt your opponent while he's in the middle of making a mistake.
Yeah.
And China's not interrupting. I think more accurately he said something like making no mistakes is what establishes the like certainty of victory, for it means like conquering an enemy that's already defeated.
Okay.
So
it's weird that you just memorized that.
I have a thing with my brain that you know about this.
Yeah, I think I've only read it once, so I don't remember. I didn't retain it as well as Girk did.
I mean, everybody's focused on like yes, Donald Trump is doing his own personal grift, but that grift is permeating everywhere. And like, the National Science Foundation, their budget's around $8 or $9 billion. And that went down a little bit, but the Senate, made sure that it, we don't want to cut the money too much, so no more than 5% cuts. And the NSF currently is taking about a $1.5 billion, nearly a quarter of its budget, from the existing budget to fund this new like initiative X Labs or something like that.
Oh, nice.
Which is intentionally designed to not go to traditional scientific enterprises. So no universities and no government contractors.
So you're saying that me and you should start a holistic medicine business.
An LLC.
Yes,
yeah,
an
LLC.
Well,
we need to start.
We need to start one for home building right away.
No. It has to be an AI and quantum.
Yeah, we're gonna do
an
AI supplement company to provide homeopathic remedies for
Tusken Raiders.
Tusken Raiders.
Ooh,
and then we're also going to build those Tusken Raiders homes. in the American heartland.
Yeah. But they told the NSF program directors, you need to just tell everybody we're not giving out any money. So whoever has requests pending, they just got a call and said we're not giving out any more money this year. It's going to essentially VC fraud, because whoever's going to start up an entity from nothing to do something interesting and competitive in AI or quantum is basically zero. Like, the only people that could do it would be some amount of fraud, and they couldn't do it. And they're cutting existing budgets by up to 25%, which for a lot of places means the work can't get done.
You know what'd be fucking crazy?
So,
hear me out. What if, like, well, you know, like, as Americans, we can't really protest, right? We all live paycheck to paycheck. States are too big. It's hard to, like, coalesce around, like, one thing, or like in one place, because the amount of travel that it would be required is far more than most people give a shit to do. But, like, imagine a world. Now this is, I want to preempt this is purely a hypothetical. I would never want this to happen. I was just thinking, like, what if everyone just took their money, right? And they took, like, all their money and their savings, and they moved it into credit unions.
Ooh.
I don't know. Is this before or after the Federal Reserve CNIS is up and running?
Does it matter?
I don't know.
Huh. Just, I mean, I don't know. You could probably follow that with your brain to a conclusion.
God, there's a lot of questions, man.
Yeah, you got one?
Mm-hmm.
No, there's one more.
Oh,
let's do it.
yeah. Huh.
Will the flight of foreign bondholders to U.S. bonds amidst the coming EU and Middle East crisis be able to offset the positive rise in bond yields that is starting, especially if equities are risked off? Money has to go somewhere at all times. What is safer than U.S. treasuries in regard to the macro environment?
I thought we just answered this with Chinese treasuries.
Yeah. First of all, the money doesn't go anywhere. You can't put money into a bond. You can't put money into a stock. There's no place for it to be stored. It goes right back into another bank account as money. Every buy has a sell. And so what matters is, what is the relative ratio of assets in your portfolio? Do you want to own 5% US bonds, or do you want to own 10% of US bonds relative to your dollars or whatever else, right? And the amount of bonds are going up 6%, 7% a year in relative to US dollars, or relative to itself, right? The amount of bonds are increasing at a rate of like 6% a year. So if dollars don't also go up that much, then bonds have to go, the rate has to go up. Unless people want to hold more bonds relative to something else. But equities are going to start dumping. And so if equities start dumping, your bond relative percentage of bonds is automatically going up in that case.
I would like to point out that currently Sudanese bonds are averaging 28.3% interest rate. And so if you're looking for countries that might be more stable than the United States, Sudan, maybe South Sudan, Syria, Congo, Yemen, Afghanistan, the Central African Republic, maybe Chad or Myanmar, Palestine. I don't think they have any bonds, but
is it 28% in US denominated yields, or is that in
You got to get the FX swap in there too.
Sudanese yields? Yeah.
That's 17.5% for local currency debt. 26.6 to 30.9%, depending on maturity. For the corresponding emerging market risk. And now there may be issues with the State Department in purchasing bonds from any of the countries I just named, but some of them do seem like they are possibly more stable than the U.S. right now. Burkina Faso, Ukraine. Ukraine has bonds, war bonds. War bonds are great. Ask your grandparents.
Ron, do you want to?
With that,
you want to take us in?
Here we go. It's our favorite section, and we get to hear Dork's voice.
Stupid bets, stupid bets. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna lose?
All right. So last
I would just
week,
like to say my tortoise-based analysis was clutch.
Well, I will. I do think we got to put a little bit of a disclaimer. So there is the possibility that Girk was right, especially if Mitch McConnell does pass on August 4th. We're going to have to flip this so that he wins just because of the precision. But other than that, JFresh did win because he called that Mitch McConnell's still alive, as far as we know. And concerning Lindsey Graham, currently there appears to be, it's all natural causes from our understanding. Although it is possible in the upcoming weeks, by August 4th, we might also know more that there may have been a possible missile strike. So we'll wait till August 4th to officially fully close this one. But I do think that at this point, JFresh is winning.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to know
fine.
my favorite thing about?
I don't mind being behind the winner of the race as long as Mitch McConnell dies on August 3rd at 11:59 p.m. and the press conference is held at 12:05 a.m.
Okay.
So
August 4th.
My favorite thing about Mitch McConnell proof of life
is how many
through
newspapers he's able to get a hold of.
Well, that, and over the course of multiple days, he's wearing the same shirt. Like, somebody bring this man some more clothes in the hospital.
They're the only ones that cover up his cleavage.
Why would he want to do that? It looks great.
He's embarrassed. Him and
his
Christy
cleavage
Gnome's,
has aged.
Him and Christy Gnome's husband got their boobs done at the same place, and he's just feeling like he did a bit too much. So just being demure about it.
Mitch McConnell's cleavage has held up much better than his neck.
All right.
Also, is dying from shaking JD Vance's hand a natural cause?
I don't think it would be natural. I think there's some kind of voodoo or witchcraft involved.
Interesting.
All right.
JD Vance is a known Wiccan, which is very common in Appalachia. Yeah.
So is Matt.
So here's an idea for a stupid bet this week. Do we want to bet if Dork gets sick from his river encounter?
Absolutely. Yes. And me and JFresh are already betting on the same yes. Actually, let's all three of us just bet that Dork gets some sort of butt or intestinal disease.
Yeah. So then,
do we want to say it has to be? Yeah, it has to be gut related.
Yeah, we have to decide what it is.
It can't be like a head.
That's our tiebreaker. We name the individual diseases.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to think of a good one. Not Giardia. Giardia is too easy.
And we do have diarrhea lettuce floating around. So there's that.
Is the diarrhea lettuce floating around in the river that Dork's currently in?
Most likely, given his propensity for Taco Bell.
Oh. But then are we going to know whether he got it at Taco Bell on the way to the river?
Doesn't need to be known.
I'm going to say... Damn.
Could also be dysentery. Not that you
I'm
wish
gonna
this
say
on him,
Escherichia coli.
Ooh.
Why don't you just say E. coli like a normal person?
No, that's not its name.
Hold on. I have to type in butt diseases into Google.
I'm going to go with the Taco Bell lettuce. I think that it holds up knowing what we know about Dork and what he's going to be seeing there at the party.
I don't think there's a Taco Bell within like 200 miles of where he's going to be, though.
Somebody will smuggle it. It will find a way. Just like,
what are the
Jurassic
good
Park.
ones? There's like typhoid, cholera, giardia, dysentery, hepatitis A. Well, we wouldn't be able to diagnose Dork with that right away.
That would take a while.
Yeah, salmonella?
I think that would be a little hard. Ooh. Nah, don't want to go there. But yeah, I'm going with whatever is going around.
Do you want to go with like some sort of weird protozoa or amoeba infection? That could be interesting. I mean, most of them are going to be like a fecal oral transmission. So I think we've named the relevant ones already.
Here's the trouble, though. Do we think that, and maybe this is really the tiebreaker, does Dork actually need medical help for it so that he actually gets it diagnosed?
Oh, no. Dork's he's got a very sensitive tummy. He'll be right at the doctor's office. He'll already have medicine by the time we speak to him about his butt disease.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I've actually been through an intestinal scare with Dork before, but we're not going to go into the details.
The more you know. Yeah, I'm going with the Cyclospora.
Okay. All right. Betting on Taco Bell. Interesting.
Yep. You've got the E. coli, and then J. Fresh, what are you thinking?
And you did what?
I did the Cyclospora.
I'm going to go with an amoeba.
There we go.
Well, then Dork's just going to die.
No.
I would just, I mean, I don't even think, I mean, he's in running water, so it's not going to be amoeba. It could be like an algal bloom, maybe, or
just let me lose.
All right. Campylobacter?
It was either that or butt
bacteriosis, maybe? That's a good
diarrhea
one that's not going to kill him. The
bet.
amoeba's going to be in his brain, and it's going to eat it. And we need that brain to program Python because none of us want to learn it.
He's got a point.
Fine, I'll just do like
Are you sure?
A rotavirus.
Are you sure you don't want to pick a water disease, Ron?
I'm pretty confident knowing his affinity for Taco Bell. He might have even gotten him before he showed up.
All right. All right.
So,
okay.
I think with that, if you guys are good, we'll wrap this episode up.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Dork, wherever you are, you're not suffering too much.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember, blot, don't wipe.
That. Yeah, keep it clenched in the water, or just don't get in. It's disgusting.
Use like a wine stopper.
He
does have those GammaStrike prototype butt plugs. Although I'm not sure if that was
Hopefully
just to introduce more bacteria.
Yeah.
Probably.
Really depends on where he's using them.